Wow.
throughout the year.
Yeah, and then what? And so if you start when you say it's kind of winter and you're get invited to the first lot selection, obviously that's a big pool of athletes going. Is it a big group of athletes going in? And obviously it gets whittled.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. There's loads. So
and what do you get tested on? That'd be good to find out. Like
so basically, and it does change. So it changes kind of through Olympic cycles, and it changes for men and women. But for the women, when I was trialing, everyone had to be in their single scull at the beginning, and that's hard because if you're not a single sculler, I mean, you can't really escape that. It's just you and your boat, and that is it. And lots of people are kind of they'll go into a crew boat and add way more value than they would in terms of their singles results, if that makes sense.
So it's not just like a direct transfer that like you get some people that are better rowing in teams than they are on their own. Interesting.
Yeah. And some, like, and vice versa, you might get some people amazingly talented and quick in their single, but you put them in a crew boat and they're an absolute boat stopper. It's just
boat stopper.
Yeah. So and actually to say, like, between, and I'd be curious if other sports, people that you've chatted to have this as well, but from under 23 to senior is a massive step up, because you're all of a sudden you might be 22 and competing against other 22-year-olds.
Yeah.
And then the minute you turn 23, you're competing against 30-year-olds who've been to like 3 Olympic Games already, potentially.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's also a massive gap in your funding. So like you get there's almost like a separate pot of funding that's available for under 23 athletes, and then a pot of funding that's available for senior athletes, but you only kind of get access to that once you're in the team.
Interesting.
So there's like this weird kind of, it's a year that often, like that transition year, often lots of people quit.
Make or break.
It's make or break, and it's tough. If you have to be, so for the rowing team, you have to be down south most of the time because that's where the national team train, and you want to make the most of any opportunity you get to train there. But house prices and rent and everything down here is savagely expensive.
Yeah.
And so then often you're training kind of full time to make the team, but you're also having to work part time to fund your training.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like your recovery is non-existent basically, because when you're supposed to be resting, you're having to work, but you're competing against athletes who are funded, who are able to rest.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to break into the team.
It's like the environment around the sport plays a major role on like how and who and how gets selected, I guess.
Yeah, and